Today, we're delighted to speak with Alberto Pardo, the co-founder and CEO of Nuestra TV, a bilingual streaming platform created for U.S. Latinos. Alberto is also the founder and CEO of AdsMobile, a minority-owned and certified pioneer in the Latino mobile advertising and digital media arena, with a focus on Latinos across generations. Bienvenido, Alberto. Thank you for joining us on Hollywood Talks.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm very happy to be together today here.
Awesome. So this is exciting. There are a lot of platforms that target audiences that are cutting the cord, as they say. But the content for Latinos is limited. I know that nowadays Latinos want to see themselves represented on TV or on streaming platforms. So tell us what Nuestra TV is, why you created it, and why you picked Latinos to be your target audience.
Well, thank you for your question. I think it's very relevant. The first thing that I want to mention is that AdsMobile is a OTT platform, or basically an entertainment platform for Latinos in the US. That's the main reason of that, why we decided to get into this business. We've been a little more than 10 years in AdsMobile. That's a digital, very focused on mobile. By the way, we were the first mobile company targeting Latinos in the US back almost a little more than 10 years ago. And of course, the natural evolution of the business is moving towards a different type of screens, which of course OTT represents maybe the biggest opportunity for any company, not only because of the size of the market, but also because of the opportunities in terms of content that the video industry represents. I think there's no doubt about that the Latinos are crazy about videos. If you see the consumption, just take a look at what happened with the video consumption in Latin America. You know, Mexico leads by far. They over-index the consumption of videos in YouTube, in Facebook, in any different platform, and as well Colombians, Argentinians, and people from Central America. So that's something that is on Latin people root in our ADN, the consumption of videos. So a little more than a year ago, we decided to create our own OTT platform. And the reason maybe is because, of course, the opportunity represents the market, but also we found a specific niche where other players in the industry are not playing now on it. So we really have a differentiation, and I'm going to explain you a little bit more about it. Our focus is the bilingual and bicultural Latino, which represents the majority of the Latinos in the US. As you see today, maybe others or our competitors, which are doing very good, by the way, like VIX or maybe Canela, they are very focusing more on targeting primary Latinos from first generation or Spanish dominant. And we think that there's an opportunity on the bilingual, bicultural content. That's one thing. Another thing is that we want to really, as I mentioned earlier, become an entertainment platform where the family is like the center of everything. We really and we truly believe that the concept of the family for the Hispanics households are relatively different than the others. So we think more on the collective speaking, or the collective idea of the Latinos community. So we want to encourage them to watch the content together at home. And also we have a different strategy in terms of our content. If you see, of course, Univision and Telemundo, they have huge production companies behind them. So they would have to prioritize almost their own content, and I totally understand. That's the one thing. And on the other, of course, since they have a lot of cash, they will always be like in the type of contents like the World Cup or the Champions, or this type of content that they can afford to pay the money to have the rights on those type of live events. So they have their own niche on that sense. There's another competitors that are also starting to produce their own content, which is fine. But we believe that the creation or to create content, it's a relatively risky business. And we found a different approach, and is that since in the United States, historically only have been a couple of channels distributing Spanish content, which is Telemundo and Univision. If you see, there's maybe thousands, but I'm going to tell you thousands of hours already produced by Latin producers or by Latin channels that are today in Latin America, and they don't have the opportunity to be reproduced today in the US. So we want to be that channel that we are going to democratize the content, the Spanish content. So we find an opportunity on that.
A little bit about how you would intend to identify your English speakers, your Spanish speakers, and how that's going to reflect what you show on your channel.
Great question. The first thing is that we really rely on data. We believe and we understand that data today is one of the most important things, not only to have it, but also, to process it and to understand and to take actions that you get coming from the data. So that's the first thing. On that sense, we understand that the data will be a key element for us to identify who is really an Spanish dominant or who's really a bilingual. And in that sense, we can, let's say, offer to those specific populations the type of content that maybe they want to. And it's going to be very easy because we are going to have the English and Spanish bottom, so you can have the translated movies. We will have versions in Spanish or content in English, or also the translation also in the content. So we are gonna identify those persons that are consuming Spanish or English, so people could really access the content in any of the both languages.
And also, you have an array of content. You have Spanish and English content, but you also have dramas, comedies, adventure movies, romantic comedies. How do you meet the filmmakers that you are going to feature on Nuestra TV?
Well, we got a clear path on the type of content that we want to offer. Of course, the novelas, the typical content that people for entertainment, we are gonna have it. The novelas, the series, I mean, all the type of content. But also, education is gonna be a very important edge for us. It's also a key of differentiating our content between the other competitors. And we found this opportunity because Latinos are emerging in the US, and I think there's a lack of content regarding education. Since the pandemic, I think many people started to consume or to understand that they can also learn good things using the video. Video is replacing the in-class concept of going to school. I'm not saying that no one is going to school anymore, but I think video and there's already a lot of good content regarding education, and there's a lot of opportunities, from women, for many things that Latinos could do in the United States. I think there's a big opportunity on that, and it's going to be very, very demanded, I'm sure.
How are you going to promote and market your platform? Because it is so key for people to know and to find you. And I know you just launched, but marketing is key. How are you going to get the word out?
I think user acquisition and lifetime user consumption is critical in this business. We got a sort of possibilities that we are doing right now, but I'm gonna tell you, for instance, search is very relevant in some of the stores. For instance, in Apple Store, we are also doing campaigns using Spanish content in Spanish publishers or content publishers. We are trying to target as well bilinguals. We are also doing social media efforts, very big. I think social media is very relevant to acquire users. Email marketing is also very important, and influencers are also a very big effort that we are going to do in terms of reaching Hispanics and bring them on board to the app. And there's another point that another edge that we are going to explore is the music, the live. I'm gonna say live music events from Latinos, which right now are facing maybe the best moment ever in the U.S. There are many Latino bands that every time, almost every month, there's a new band playing in many of the cities. So it represents a very good opportunity for us to engage with the Latino community. So we have been signing agreements with many of these bands in order to exposure or to have their concerts live in the platform. So that will be another way to promote our platform among the Latinos.
What do you say to those talents that are looking for a platform, a distribution for their content?
Well, that's a very interesting question because we have been internally debating or talking on the way to open a gate for any producer to to put in the table the content, and that's maybe something that we are gonna do as a phase two. Right now, we got an internal team, a content team that they are experts with a lot of years of experience, and they have been knocking the door today with all the content producers and TV channels and maybe a lot of in also events that are around the world. There's actually in a couple of weeks a very big event in Spanish from TV in Spain, and also in January there's another one that used to be in Miami, and there are many events in Latin America and in the U.S. regarding the Hispanic TV industry. So we have been connecting to them, and we have been, as I mentioned before, looking or questioning if we need to open as a YouTube did, that they let anyone to ingest content. Maybe we are not gonna make it in the same way as YouTube did. We will have a sort of a qualification, a minimum qualification process, but that's something that we have been discussing internally, and maybe we will do it in the near future.
Well, you answered my next question, because my next question was going to be, where do you see Nuestra TV in 5 years? So, in addition to what you just told us, which is fantastic, anything else you see for Nuestra TV in 5 years?
Absolutely. I think what is gonna happen with the TV industry is gonna set up a very important milestone for what we are doing right now. I think we just entered at the right moment. As you know, look, the TV industry in the United States is really changing. There are a lot of emerging platforms. Think people is not only watching the standard TV, but also watching many other screens. And for us, it represents also an opportunity to be in many other screens. The 5G technologies also will have an impact in what we do today. So tomorrow you're going to have a TV in your car, or maybe you're going to have many more opportunities to watch the content. So I think we need to focus on understand how is going to be that effect. Is going to what's the impact of that effect into our business. So I think we are going to be a multi-screen company, not only the typical video or the typical content that people watch on TV, but also the educational, which is relatively a new effort in the TV industry. Not everybody is having education on TV, so that's a new edge. Also, live TV, it also represents a very nice opportunity, and of course, we are gonna see the TV industry changing. Not only in terms of technology, but also in the type of content that we are. So gaming is another alternative that we are definitely considered to move on, and it's going to happen in the next 6 months. So we are going to open a platform for gamers. I think gaming is becoming very, very, very popular. As you know, maybe 3 billion or more than a half of the today worldwide users on the internet are gamers. So it's a very important category, and for sure, Latinos are over index on that. So we want to make sure that we also have, as an entertainment platform, we need to have a gaming platform, and also maybe in the audio space, we're gonna include some, maybe we don't know if podcast or audio streaming, but for sure we're gonna also include some audio in order to have a 360-degree approach to the entertainment.
Wow, that's a lot. And it's all sounds great. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us a little insight. I was excited before, but I'm really excited about the whole picture, the way it's going to grow, and the content that we will be getting here in the US, because we don't just operate in the US. We like to know what's happening in the world, and I think that you're covering it all. So thank you so much for joining us, and the best of luck.
Thank you so much for the invitation, for the opportunity to share